Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. First of all, if you are new here, I post new book reviews almost every single day on a wide variety of topics, both fiction and nonfiction. So if you like book reviews, if you want some reading inspiration, then feel free to stick around. Now let's talk about today's book. Today I am going to be reviewing a book that I got for an upcoming trip that I am taking. So I am going to be taking a trip to the New England area of the United States and visiting quite a number of states. And this is not an area that I have been to, at least not in the last decade or so. So I wanted to get a couple books from the library to read up on this area and the history so I knew what I was looking at or things I wanted to see when I was there on that trip. I like doing a little bit of reading about a place I'm going to visit. I just find that I appreciate my trips and my travels more when I know a little bit more about the place I am visiting. So I placed a wide variety of books, and one of them was this book, New Hampshire by Patricia Harris and David Lyon. So because this was a hold that I placed, I had to get it shipped in from another library, and they have a little sticker on the cover, which I'm not allowed to remove. So that is why there is this blue mark, but it is quite a small book, as you can see. So I placed this hold with a large number of other books that I got from the library. This wasn't in my book haul or my latest library haul because it hadn't arrived yet when I did that haul, but this has since arrived. And when I went to the library to go pick it up, I was taken aback and I had to take a second to look to see if I had actually placed a hold on a kid's book. This, due to the small size and the length, less than 100 pages, it reminded me of those books that we had in my library as a kid, where they would have one for each state in the United States or one for each country in the world, and it would be just like this, just a little book on each one of them. And so I thought I had placed a hold on a kid's book, but as far as I can tell, this is a book aimed for adults, and after I read it, I think it is actually an adult book. But this book is more of a highlight reel than an in-depth read. So this is the kind of book that isn't going to go deep into anything and is more of, like I mentioned, a highlight reel. It's designed to give you a broad overview of a wide variety of topics. This book actually focuses primarily on the history, arts, and culture of New Hampshire, and it's not going to go too in-depth about anything. If you find anything interesting in this book that you want to pursue further, you're going to have to get another book to read about it a little bit more. However, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think this was a perfect starting point. When I last thought about New Hampshire, it was probably 20 years ago. When I was in third grade, we had to learn every state in the United States as well as a bunch of facts and information about them. But since then, because I don't visit it very frequently, I really haven't had any chance to review the knowledge that I had. And so I didn't really know a whole lot about it. So this was kind of a good starting point, and it also gave me kind of the top attractions. And this isn't necessarily a travel book, I would say, but maybe like the top, so some sites, some history, some information, a starting point, a place to jump off from if anything in here sounded interesting. I think that the page count is also going to be really good it's good for a number of reasons. It's good for people like me, or maybe you, if you're thinking of taking a trip to this region and you're not sure what you want to see, or you just want to read a very quick overview of the place without going too in depth. You don't want to read 250, 300, 350 pages on the history of this area because you just want to read something the weekend before you go on your trip and just have a basic overview or a little bit more knowledge of the place that you're visiting. It's perfect for that. It's also perfect if you enjoy reading about things like local history, culture, arts, but you don't have a lot of time. Maybe you're busy, maybe your career takes a lot of time, you have a lot of time-intensive hobbies, you're a parent, so time is kind of something that is in short supply for you. Then a book like this might be perfect because of its size and because it's so compact and giving you the highlights, and then it also will give you a point. If anything in here sounds interesting, you can go read or learn further about it without having to devote 250 pages of reading time to find the one thing that you're actually interested in. So this book is quite a bit older. It was written in 2000, quite a bit older. I remember the year 2000, so not that old I want to think, but for something that's factual for nonfiction that can sometimes be quite old, sometimes things written in 2000 have aged quite a bit. It does depend on the field that it is in. If it's something like science or breakthroughs in a field or current political climate, something from 2000 might be quite dated. However, because the focus of this book is on the history, is on the arts and culture, and by that I mean writers who work there or who have worked there, people who have come from this area, natural features, so what mountains are there, rivers, how the state came about, how Vermont came about, which is a neighboring state, which apparently broke away from New Hampshire. So because the focus was more on that instead of like current political climate in New Hampshire or current issues facing New Hampshire, I think the book retains a lot more of its relevancy even 23 years removed. So I don't think that the age of this book, well, some of the things maybe are a little dated. They talk about recent things being from 1999, and some of the artists who are mentioned as still living in New Hampshire have since passed away from 2000. I don't think that it's so outdated that it's not worth reading. I do wonder if this publisher has a more up-to-date version. Again, I just placed a hold on it from my library, so I didn't go to the publisher's website and see if they had a more updated copy for me to purchase. If there is a more updated copy from this publisher, it might be worth getting that copy. However, if this is the only copy you can find, or maybe you can get this for a discounted deal online somewhere because it is older, I don't think that you're going to lose anything from reading this from 2000. The book is a good mixture of pictures and text. So there's both photographs of different areas, regions, and historical photographs, as well as, because I mentioned there's a lot of focus in this about art and about culture, there's a lot of artwork, pieces of art included as well, which was really, really pretty. I had a really good time flipping through this and just looking at it. The text was very well contained. As you can see, like this says Yankee Magazine, and it's just 2 pages, very, very small pages. The next one, Lines of Granite. So you have quite a brief introduction to each of the topics that you're interested in. And as I mentioned, you can go off on your own and find more information if anything on here sounds interesting. I do want to share my favorite picture in the whole book, which is actually on the inset between the beginning of this book and the cover page. It's this picture right here of the fall colors. I think that's so pretty. This year I'm going to be going to New England in the summer, but in the future I would like to go in the fall and do a fall tour of New England. I know that it's kind of known for having beautiful fall colors, and the insert in this book kind of proves my point. It just seems so pretty, so beautiful. So I am interested in visiting it in the fall and seeing something like this in color. If you have any thoughts, comments, things that you think I missed, books that you'd like me to read, please put it in the comments below. I love getting your comments. I love reading your comments. I think it's so interesting. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.